Welcome back to the SU Officer Media Day 2026. I'm joined by another candidate here, and can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Eva. I study modern languages and I'm a she, her, and I'm going for the role of education officer.
So, can you tell me about one experience that you've had here in Sheffield that's made you want to run?
Yes, so I'm currently the president for the Hispanic Society, and within that we have a lot of events to plan and a lot of things to put together to build our community. Obviously, a lot of this has to be done through the university, through the SU, and we've had a lot of problems. So knowing that when you force people to listen and you force them to do what you need them to do for you, knowing that it works when you pursue that made me think that I would be a good candidate for this because I have spoken to a lot of students. I know kind of what they want, and I know that it can work if you just try hard enough.
And looking at some of your plans, if you were to be elected for the next term, if you had to prioritise one thing that you would get done in the first 100 days, let's say, what would that be and why?
For me, it's very important that we stop all staff and course cuts because my degree specifically, amongst others, has been really affected by this in the last few months, and we really don't know what the future is going to look like for people starting this degree or coming back from their year abroads next year or the year after that. So it's really important that we make sure the university stops cutting staffing and actually gives us a degree that can be reliable and that we can be happy with.
And a lot of students have had issues with the limited contact hours already, never mind the fact that they are cut down amidst strikes. How do we look at combating that?
So I think it's very important that first of all students realise that there are people they can talk to, because I think a lot of us don't always know that. So they need to think about what it is that they would like as support first of all, and then talk to the people that can represent them, tell them how change could happen, how change could be positive for them, and then let those people kind of take over. But basically just communicate. It's very important that all students communicate.
And AI is everywhere in 2026. How do we stop the university from punishing students for using new tech and trying to keep up with that, rather than teaching them how to use it and making sure that people are ethical and mindful in their use of AI?
Yeah, so I think it's definitely important, like you said, to be conscious of the use of it. I think it can be a very good thing if you know how to use it. So perhaps the best way to do that would be to implement more knowledge courses within the university that people can attend and people can learn how this can work, because, you know, when a teacher says, oh, just don't use it, it's not worth it, I don't quite agree with that. I think used well, it can be very beneficial. But it's kind of the university's job to do that for us, to teach us how to do that.
And some students at the moment aren't happy with the way their courses are being taught or the way that they are receiving feedback.
Yeah.
How do you plan on implementing change in that area?
So I feel very strongly about feedback specifically. I think a lot of the people in my degree struggle to know how to go about assessments in the right way. And so I think training every single member of staff more deeply into how to give a good amount of feedback to students, and also a quality of feedback that works for different students. I feel like having one same structure for everyone can sometimes not be the most beneficial. So yeah, training definitely very important, and talking to the right people and making sure, again, they are listening to students, listening to what we want and trusting what we have to say.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
can you look into this camera here and show us what you've drawn on your shield, please?
It's not quite finished, but my favourite hobby is paddle, although because of course structures I can't really do much of that at the moment. My campaign singles would be a vote finger, because it's very, very important that everyone votes. And a smile, because I think this can also be very fun, and I smile a lot and I want to make people smile too. My favourite place I think would probably be Foundry, because it's a very versatile place, a lot of things going on, something for everyone, so I love the Foundry. And the best SU food, I don't tend to eat in the SU that much, but when I do, I have a guilty pleasure for the chicken nuggets. So there you go.
Perfect. And can you look into the camera again, please, and tell me 3 words as to why people should trust you with their vote?
Yeah, so people should trust me because I'm caring, because I'm very fun, and because I think that a good education that's worth it matters for all.
Perfect. Thank you so much and good luck with your campaign.
Thank you very much.
Now I'm joined with another candidate. Can you please introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Hannah. I go by Shive, and I'm running for Education Officer.
So let's say you are elected as Education Officer. In your first 100 days, what is one thing from your future plans that you would like to implement as a priority, and why is that?
I think it'd be standardising the amount of support disabled students get across departments, specifically enforcing learning support plans and making sure all staff are sort of respecting them, and that'd be like my main focus.
And in terms of representing students with different values to you, how do you intend on ensuring all students are listened to while also coming to a conclusion that benefits everyone?
I think just taking like a compassionate perspective and just making sure everyone is being heard and listened to and has a space to sort of share their view, their experience. Obviously everyone will experience education differently. And then just sort of maybe finding ways to get everyone to sort of look at different perspectives as well, because obviously it might be difficult, and then just maybe agree on what is possible, and then what will benefit the majority maybe of students, or the students that are maybe in need of more support in that way, or the most in what we're discussing.
And do you believe that university education is political, and if so, why or why not?
I think everything's political, so I'd say education and higher education specifically is political. I think the fact that everyone that will be going to higher education will have different experiences. It might be the first time they're ever sort of interacting with higher education, it might be the first of their generation. They might also be disabled, and that might make it more difficult or less accessible, and I think it's something that's really important to sort of talk about and make sure we sort of tackle and make sure everyone gets the same opportunity, because education should be equal opportunities for everyone.
And AI is everywhere at the moment, and it's something that we can't ignore, and it's a big discussion when it comes to education. How do we make sure that universities aren't unfairly punishing students who are trying to use it to keep up with the way that things are moving, but also ensuring that it's not running rampant and it's being used mindfully and ethically?
I think it's quite a difficult question, because I still don't think I understand AI fully myself, and I know that AI is useful for some people, especially if English is their second language and they're using it as translation tools, but also as accessibility tools. But I think we need to make sure everyone is using it sort of fairly, especially when it comes to assessments. But also maybe everyone gets the opportunity to learn how to use it, because some people might be really skilled at it and can sort of enhance their work in an ethical way, while others might not even know how to use it or might not even want to use it. And then we have this whole discussion of, should we let some students use it and not others, and how does that affect assessment and grading? And I think sort of getting a standardised sort of guidance around AI throughout departments is really important.
And we've seen a lot of cuts to budget, specifically in the arts, and then also we've seen issues with languages as well. How do you plan on approaching this issue and making sure that things aren't being cut quietly without student knowledge?
I think just keeping students aware and representing the student and what they want and what they are feeling, because I think a lot of times we think of the staff members who are striking, but what about how does that affect students, but also what do they want? Because I know a lot of language students that are really upset with the fact that the department's sort of changing quite a lot compared to when they first arrived in their first year. Now they're in their final year, and I think it's just important making sure everyone's aware of what's going on, especially people maybe from outside the department, because how many people who are engineer students know that all these cuts are happening in the humanities and the arts, and what would they feel about it, and sort of just make sure everyone's aware about it, and maybe find ways to get students involved in making sure it's not happening silently, but also maybe trying to make it maybe not happen as much.
And just to close us off, would you please look into this camera and show us what you've drawn today?
It all looks like nothing really. I've got a sausage roll for the best SU food. Favourite hobby, a book. I like reading. And then the symbols is just a book, and then the graduation cap, obviously for education. And I did not draw a favourite place, but I would say Red Book Market is my favourite place. Is that what it's called? Yeah, Red
Yes,
Book. Yeah,
definitely.
no, yeah, that's my favourite place. I spend way too much money there, but it's so nice and so cute. But yeah.
And if you could look into this camera and give me 3 words as to why people should trust you with their vote.
I think I'm compassionate and compassionate, inclusive, and just sort of kindness, maybe, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for speaking to us today, and best
Thank
of
you.
luck with your campaign.
Thank you.